Hello everybody, thank you for joining us. Today we'll be drawing an egg. And why we want to draw an egg is to study some core shading that we can really pick up from this very important source of protein, calcium, certain vitamins. So it's not just an important source of life, and life as in that if it hatches we have a chick, baby hen, or we get a lot of nutrition from it, but it is also a good source of learning shading, as you will see, because it is not exactly circular, it is an oval with a very particular shape. I didn't do it quite perfectly, but it will suffice just enough for us in this exercise. So if you have an egg down, you do not necessarily need a perfect shape, but just so that you have that going, so wider and considerably smaller on this side. As you'll see that when I take off those stray lines, that's just one method of doing it, provided you use very light strokes, and then you could just go on and erase the ones that you do not need around. So we just get rid of that, and now we will determine a light source. Let's say that the light source is coming in, let's choose coming in from this side. So we'll start right from the highlighted ends right down there. So the way it works with an egg is, the first thing is the light source hitting this area, as I've said, like this way, not exactly that. You're doing this light source, it's more realistic as well. So highlighted area, we'll leave that alone for now. Now we start shading away from it. So the first true bulge comes in right around this area here. Now we have to remember that use very minimal tones on this guy. So, and then we work around that highlighted source. Don't be afraid to come all the way down here. So we make the bulge evident, perhaps a little darker here around this area, away from the source of light. I'm breaking my own rules here and going all the way in all directions with a crosshatch. Usually not a recommended practice. If you keep the flow going in one direction along the shape, it is much more pleasant and much more to look at and much more easier to work with. So we're going to come back and begin fading this out. Right here I'll put in a slightly darker tone along this line. Now again, you have to remember that you do not necessarily have to have the exact same shading routine or the exact same egg. I do not have an egg right here. I wish that I did, and you should put one in a very bright light source and have some shadows work for you, so that you could really do some magic with this. And it's very essential shading and tone practice, also a bit with shadows. So right there we pretty much put down the crosshatch against the light source. I was supposed to come back a little bit toward the highlighted source, to the highlighted area, sorry. and make sure that the crosshatch just goes enough to show that little bulge. Now manage to put that down, and then how we bring out the rest of it is the shadow. So depending on that light source falling, we'll come back, just determine an area for the shadow, not too much, just about here I think will do. I'll take that off, and you can move things and change things as you're going along, but planning is key. It's very essential. So darker shadow in the immediate area. Dark, 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 and then you could fade it out at the ends a little bit. So as you see that I made that a little more dark, just so it stands out even more. Stark contrasting shapes always work best. Now how dark you make this bulge around the highlighted area is all up to you, but teachers are normally in school against this technique here, but again I just want to make this a shortcut and work quickly for us so that you could try this thing right away and have some fun with it. And as you see, that is why the shape of the egg is essential practice, because it works differently than a circle. You should try it out, put it in source of light, and you will probably get something better than I did, but it's fun and essential shading and tone practice. So please do let us have your comments, do subscribe, and keep in touch. Have yourself a wonderful day.